All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakadash. Double honors to the powers of Israel, aka the powers of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach his truth and on truth and sincerity. All right, real quick. So, I was actually just reading something. I was just reading a couple scriptures randomly, and I came into Habakkuk, the second chapter. You know, basically, as the title reads, so woe to him that increases that which is not his. Now, obviously, with all of what's going on, with these devils, these Idumeans have done what they've been doing, what they're still doing, as far as like what's going over there in the Middle East, what's going there in other parts of the world, as far as these devils are trying to like basically like take what's not theirs. They're basically trying to, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to basically take control of the whole earth. Now, granted, part of Esau's blessing is the fatness of the earth, but the way he's going about it, he's not going about it in a righteous way. You know, and the way he's ruling, the way he's moving is not righteous. All right. Now, I'm trying to get through this quick because I don't have much time, but like, you know, basically it's like there is going to be a recompense that's coming that they don't understand what's coming to them. Now, granted, yeah, the Lord is still allowing them to do what they do and how they do it. But at the end of the day, what they don't understand is there is this time stamp on it. There's an expiration date on this. And that expiration date is approaching quickly. And that's why these devils are getting more and more worse. They're waxing worse and worse because they know they have but a short time. Now, I'm going to go right to the point. So there's the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4, and it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Verse 5, it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what he's doing right now. They said the Bank of England, it holds the most gold, and it's over a 320-year history. Hold the gold of a lot of countries, Venezuela being one of them. And I just found out, and that's just through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, brother posted something about the Bank of England, because basically they were saying that Venezuela were trying to get money, well, get the gold back from the Bank of England to do whatever, because it's their gold. And basically what happened was a judgment that the Bank of England said, nah, we're not going to get that shit back to you. Because they said some government bullshit, but we all know why it is, because it's Esau. And you know, when you talk about the Bank of England, you talk about the elites, all right? Because that's where all the banking shit, that's where it all stems from. It stems from England, all right? But it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Because you got people talking about, yo, what else we want to have to go on? All we're going to have to go on in the times that we living in and times we coming in, we're going to have to live by our faith in YAHAWASHI, because clearly the faith in Allah is not working for them. Because you got over there in Palestine, them fucking small hats, they out here still fucking them up. I just seen footage, some small hat settlers, and they took over some Palestinian crib farm or whatever, and they fucking basically they killed the sheep. Killed sheep that they had in a grotesque way, body slamming them shits. And this is something that the so-called American government is allowing, and nobody's batting an eye. Here they want to talk about all the violence and the teism and all that shit, but yeah, these motherfuckers could do what the fuck they want without any kind of repercussion. But the repercussion is coming from where? The repercussion is going to come from who? YAHAWASHI. See, YAHAWASHI is going to deal with Amalek. He's going to deal with these devils, man. So the Lord is basically having them build up their tab more and more, because the sins already went up to the heavens. All right, the Lord is not letting anything go unaccounted for. They just putting more on. Anyway, it says he is yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. Now the wine talking about his philosophies and his bullshit and all his influence on the earth. You know, with all the business and the dollar and the money and all that shit. It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. He neither keepeth at home. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and his as death, and cannot be satisfied. Here it is, these devils got the fatness. They already have the fatness of the earth. They already have their palms. They already have their paws and all the other countries' shit, business, resources. But they cannot be satisfied. They still want more. Now they say, oh, we want to take all of this land. Oh no, y'all can't have nuclear missiles. Only we can. We can have nuclear missiles, but you can't have nuclear missiles. And you got America right behind them, saying, yeah, if they can't have Iran, you can't have nuclear weapons. Yeah, you can't have nuclear. Yeah, you can't do this. You can't do that. But here it is. You can do anything you want. All right. It says verse 6, and it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. And that's what these devils do. Hell, that land of Israel is not theirs. That's the true Israelites' land, the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But the Lord said what? It was a punishment, so he rooted us out of that land, and now it's in the hands of the base of men. But it wasn't going to be in their hands forever. They weren't going to be in this position of power forever. That's what they got fucked up. See, they think they got a bunch. See, they know they don't have a bunch of time, but they acting like they have a bunch of time, and they letting their Idumean counterparts that's on a low level think that somehow they're gonna bounce back. But there ain't gonna be no bounce back after this time. The Lord said what? It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his. So what's gonna happen when these devils go down? Ain't nobody gonna have pity. They're going to take part in it, man. It said, that which is not his, how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Now, who's going to be that first? The Israelites. Because the Israelites are going to get all the power back when YAHAWASHI comes back. We're going to get our land back. We're going to get our decency back. We're going to get our righteousness back. See, these devils over there, they're not righteous. As you can tell what they're doing. And now the whole world is seeing it. That footage I saw was from, I believe it was on Al Jazeera. So you have a bunch of people seeing it, commenting on it. So the whole world is seeing what you're doing. That's why them devils try to have Al Jazeera shut down. Because they're showing their grotesque acts. Here it is. You talk about Hamas and Gaza and Palestine. You talk about them, they being all it's this XYZ, but all we see is all the people see is y'all fucking them up. Now fuck them heathens, because those are heathens. That's Ishmael over there. But at the end of the day, it's still like, yo, why are you moving like that? Like, verse 8, and it says, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 8, and it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations. So you spoiled the nation that's the apple of the Lord's eye, the Lord chose the nation, Jacob, the Israelites. You spoiled them. It says, all the remnant of people shall spoil thee. See, nobody's gonna take pity once you lose everything. See, Israel gonna get it back. Israel gonna get everything, all the gold, all of what you stole, all the resources. We're gonna get all that back. You see, them Venezuelans over there, those are Israelites over there. So that's more oppression from Esau to Jacob. But it says, you have spoiled, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Because Esau's been what? He's been violent. His whole time in rulership, he's been violent. Never peace. It said he hated not blood. So blood, now soon enough, blood is going to pursue thee. It says, verse 9, it says, woe to him that coveteth an evil covenant to his house, that he may set his nest on high. And that's what these devils do. Set their nest on high. They up in outer space. They tall ass skyscrapers. They can't be touched. It says that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Because what? You're not. So you think y'all think y'all good. And it's funny because really now they're going underground with all these bunkers and shit. Verse 10 is Habakkuk chapter 2. It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. It says, consulted shame to thy house. So it's going to be shame to the house of Esau. And you already had the shame. And now you have the shameful spewing on thy glory, which I'm going to read. And that's why you had Trump talking about, oh, they want to take the slavery out of the history books, or they want to take this at XYZ. But the cat is already out the bag. You've already been exposed. The skirt is lifted. We've already seen the poom poom. Once a woman's skirt is lifted, you see the poom poom. You've seen it already. You can't wipe out the world's memory from you being exposed now. But you know, the devil gonna be a devil, and he's gonna keep trying to deceive. But the jig is up, and that's what people don't understand. The jig is up. I'm gonna jump down to verse 12, and it says, "Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity." Now, how was America established? How was America really? How did America come about? What happened over here? You had the so-called Native Americans, Gad, Reuben, over here. North America, South America. You had them over here. All right. They were over here. You came over here. And what? You raped, robbed, and murdered. You pillaged. You stole the land. That's why I said, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. You wasn't over here. You came over here and you took this land. And now you talking about, oh, they're illegal immigrants. Now they're aliens. Now they need to be deported. But here it is, you're the actual illegal aliens. You're the immigrants. They were here first. What happened to you? I was here first? And that's well documented that they were here first. And you try to say, oh, we civilized them. We made their life better. You mean the same way you're making the life over there for the Palestinians better? But you know, it is what it is. But you gotta continue to build your rap sheet, man, because your iniquities, your sins, your all the fuck shit that you're doing, you're gonna have to account. You're gonna be judged for it, man. You're gonna be judged, and man, especially for what you did to the Israelites, and what you're still doing to the Israelites. You're still oppressing the Israelites. It says, verse 13, it says, "Behold, is it not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall wear themselves for very vanity, for the earth shall be..." Oh, that's something else. Here we go. I'm going to jump down to verse 15, because I got to be quick. So it says, "Woe unto him that give his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness." Verse 16, it says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered." Because you see what they've been doing to other nations. It says, "Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink." Now, granted, these Edomites be beefing. Because you had, matter of fact, you had with Cesar Borgia, he killed some Edomites, allegedly, to get up behind the throne in the papacy. You got Trump talking about, oh, the NATO need to do this, NATO need to do that. Oh, I don't know if I need to uphold the Constitution. You got a lot of Edomites. You got a lot of Edomites that's on these food stamps that they're being affected. You got a lot of Edomites that's being affected by the moves of this government and this administration. But read that. So Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 16, it says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." And that's what's happening right now. Shameful spewing is on thy glory. Because now all your skeletons are coming out the closet. And you can't escape, and you can't unreveal it. Like once something is seen, it's seen. Your deeds have been exposed already. Oops. Let's see. Habakkuk chapter 2. Now I'm going to read this in the NLT. So there's the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4, and it says, "Look at the proud. They trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked, but the righteous will live by their faithfulness to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI." Well, verse 5, it says, "Wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest." You see, and you hear Trump, he talks nothing but arrogant. You hear these devils, the way they talk with a sense of arrogance and pride. All right? It says, "They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many people." Because what? That's what Esau doing now. You gather many, you basically taking a bunch of people's shit. But what was the first and main thing you did? When you oppressed the Israelites and you stole from the Israelites, you took of the Lord's temple. Now you in the Lord's holy land, defiling it and being wicked. You think the Lord's just gonna let that ride? Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6 in the NLT, it says, "But soon their captives will taunt them. They will mock them, saying, What sorrow awaits you, thieves? What sorrow awaits you, thieves? Now you will get what you deserve. You've become rich by extortion, but how much longer can this go on? But how much longer can this go on? And it said you got rich by extortion. Deceit. Where's that rich is gotten by deceit? That's how you got rulership. That's how you got on top. That's why the Lord said, what? Give unto her double. The land of our captivity, America, Babylon the Great, which art to be destroyed, utterly wasted, wildly desolate. And the rest of you Idumeans that's in the other parts of earth, you're going to be thrown into slavery, man. That's the future that awaits you. It's going to be no multipolar universe. It's going to be no EU for much longer. It's going to be no NATO. It's going to be no America, no fucking Russia, no Ukraine, none of that shit. Ain't going to be none of that shit. It's going to be YAHAWASHI ruling on the earth. And then you're going to get all your biblical nationality titles back. You're going to be known as the Ammonites. You're going to be known as the Edomites. You're going to be known as the Moabites, Ishmaelites, Elamites, Hamites. Everything's gonna get 180 back to how it's supposed to be. All you nations worshiping the Yahweh BAHASHAM and his chosen people on the earth, on this earth that we're on right now. All right. It says, verse 7 of Habakkuk chapter 2 in the NLT, it says, suddenly your debtors will take action. They will turn on you and take all you have while you stand trembling and helpless. And that's what's about to happen to Esau. You about to be helpless, man. And no one's going to pity you because of what all your deeds throughout the earth and throughout your rulership. Ever since the time from Alexander up until now. And then what you did in the past. And the time of the Babylonians, when it's talked about in the book of Obadiah, you helping the Babylonians capture Israelites. In the time of David and Saul. In the time what? In the time when we came out of, we were delivered out of Egypt. Who oppressed us first? Amalek. Oh, you want to go all the way back to the garden with the serpent? That snake. That scumbag. Those scumbags now have a people, and they're the Edomites, and now they're ruling. But the Lord said, what? Esau's the end of the world. So this is the last heathen to rule over the Israelites before Israel under YAHAWASHI gets the throne back. See, they didn't know. They didn't consider their latter end. They don't understand that, yo, man, you wasn't going to have this forever. And now these signs that we see in the prophecy coming to pass now are signs that we're at this devil's end of his reign. All right? This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 8 in the NLT, and it says, because you have plundered many nations, now all the survivors will plunder you. And that's what's going to happen when the survivors of the elect. That's what you really got to deal with. And then after that, after Israel gets the power, after Israel is sanctified in the sight of the nations going, what? You're going to be the scum of the earth, literally. You're going to be the base of men. You're going to be put back at the bottom where you belong. And all the nations are going to fuck you up. All the nations are going to fuck you up under our command. All you nations are going to be ruled under us, but you're going to be at the bottom. And that's not going to be a good thing to be at the bottom of the kingdom of Yasharallah, the kingdom of YAHAWASHI. Remember, these are the talk about the people that the Lord actually hates. He said he hated Esau. It says you committed murder throughout the countryside and filled the towns with violence. And that's what he's doing. Look what he's doing in Venezuela. Filling the town with violence. Look what he's doing there in the Middle East, filling the towns with violence. Look what Russia, Ukraine is doing, filling the towns with violence. Esau, they're all violent. You talk to these Edomites, they're nothing but violent. They're violent mind. They have a violent mind. Hold on one second. Remember it said what the soul. It said this. The soul that's in him is not upright in him. They know nothing but this murderous, treacherous, prideful way of life. That's all they know, because that's how Yahweh BAHASHAM programmed them to be. That's why they can't do nothing else. They don't know righteousness. The Lord didn't give them that. All right? This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9 in the NLT. It says, what sorrow awaits you who build big houses with money gained dishonestly. Money gained dishonestly. Who is more dishonest than Esau, Edom? Yeah, you've been dishonest this whole time. You talk about, oh, we're the Africans. You're the children of Israel. This country is our founding fathers built this country themselves. Like, you built this country yourself. Like, you didn't steal everything you have. It said wealth gotten dishonestly. You've been nothing but dishonest your whole time in rulership. It says, what sorrow awaits you who build big houses with money gained dishonestly? You believe your wealth will buy security, putting your family's nest beyond the reach of danger, but that's not the case. It says you believe it, but that's a delusion. Because you're saying that your kingdom and your whole whatever, the way you puff yourself up is being deflated. The Lord is taking the air out of you, knocking the wind out your system. And what's going to happen is, it said what sorrow awaits you. Remember, there's going to be a heavy judgment for you devils, man. You so-called white people. The seed of Idumea, Basra. Remember the Lord said what? In Isaiah 63, who is this? Would dye coming from Edom, would dye garments from Basra. You're going to be numero uno on a list of the enemies of the Lord, of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. And when YAHAWASHI comes back, he's going to handle you personally. Because why? You in his land and you afflicting his people. And that's a majority of how you got your wealth, is afflicting the Israelites, man, and the other nations. Because it said you plundered the nations. Not just Israel, but that's the only nation that the Lord cares about. And that's who you afflicted the most. That's who you oppress the most, presently to this day. That's what the Lord said, what sorrow awaits you? Remember the Lamentations, the 4th chapter. Surely the cups are passed through unto thee. It's your turn coming up. The curse is going to fall upon you and the rest, and you the other nations. It says, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 10, it says, but by the murders you committed, you have shamed your name and forfeited your lives. You shamed your name because now you're shameful. And that's why you're trying to hide slavery. That's why you want to take this out of the history books. That's why you're trying to take this out of the history books. Or you're trying to cover that up, But everything's already been discovered. Everything's already been uncovered. Everything's already been exposed. And now you're just being more exposed by you trying to hide it. The information is already out there. But hey, it was the Lord's call. It was YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI that revealed you. Remember, this is all the Lord's doing. This is the one true living God's doing. The one that actually hates you. He's undoing you. The same one that put you on top, he's about to take you to the bottom, man. Because the Lord said what? He set up and removed kings. And he set you up, you devils up. Start with Alexander. He set y'all up. And might just put you right down with Trump and the rest of these elites. And then the rest of you devils that's under them, man. And that's what's about to happen. So what sorrow awaits you, who got money, who got wealth dishonestly, man? And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Now everybody knows who you are. And you keep showing yourself. That's it, though. But with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all true sincerity. Shalom.